Hello, a very good evening. Welcome to tonight's edition of the News Focus. My name is El Samuels, and it's always good to be with you. It's a Monday evening, and we're all looking at the latest story that has made headline throughout the day. You can also join us via a phone on a WhatsApp on 0537158638. And also don't forget that we're live on our social media handles, Facebook, YouTube, X, on MBN 360. So get to MBN 360. But for starters, let's straight away look at the latest story. We'll start with some political story where Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia has been declared the winner of the MPP presidential primary, securing the party's flag bearership for the 2028 elections. In crime, suspected hoodlums placed a coffin in front of the Osita main market. 2 people were killed and several others injured in a violent clash at Abu Yahya in the Oti region over a land and chieftaincy dispute. The health minister has directed a shift to population-based pharmacy licensing, and the Bank of Ghana projected inflation to align closely with a medium-term target and strong GDP growth in 2026. The Ghana Education Minister has inspected the site for a science lab at Pope John SHS in honor of the late Omani Buama. Latest stories coming in from our studios here on the 10th Avenue Extension, Greater Estate. My name is El Samuels, and I'll be with you tonight in Focus till 10 p.m. when we shake the hand of departure and say bye-bye to ourselves, and we say a prayer with every heartbeat. The number you can join us is 0537158638 is the numbers. Once again, good evening and welcome to tonight's edition of the News Focus. Bawumia must break perceived Akufo-Addo control to win public trust, vote. Ansah Asante, a senior lecturer at the Department of Political Science, University of Ghana, Dr. Kwame Ansah Asante, says the new patriotic party, the NPP flag bearer, Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia, must decisively establish his independence from the former president, Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo, if he hopes to win the trust of Ghanaians and secure vote in the 2028 general election. Dr. Ansah's statement comes as Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia positioned himself for the 2028 presidential race following his election as an MPP flag bearer, with party unity and public perception expected to play critical role in the campaign ahead. That is the flag bearership race. He needs to place himself in a position that will herald in the confidence that the Ghanaian people will be looking at going forward. With Ghanaians giving that mandate, we'll talk more about this election and its fortune as we move on tonight in Focus. We'll bring you all the latest stories that has made headline across the country. Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia has been elected as the new patriotic flag bearer for the election 2028, securing 11,643 votes, 56.48% of total vote. He emphasized the party unity, calling for reconciliation, collective focus on winning the 2028 elections. Bawumia's victory positioned him to lead the MPP into the next general election with challenges, including rebuilding trust with supporters and addressing economic management concerns. Those are the key areas Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia will be looking to factor in for the NPP as the sojourn for God and for country tonight. 0537158638 is the numbers. You can also join us and let's have a tete-a-tete in. In his victory speech, Dr. Bawumia called for party unity, discipline, respect for party values, emphasizing the need to rebuild and strengthen the party's structures ahead of the 2028 general election. So those are the key areas the man elected to lead the MPP. He's the man of the moment we'll be looking at. Now we'll be turning our attention to look at one of the thorny issues that came up in the Gadangwe district. That's the Gamanche Kintaki Te Kochulu. The second has partnered with the Ghana Education Service Minister Haruna Idrisu to advocate for the inclusion of the Gadangwe language in the Google AI learning tools. This initiative aims to promote indigenous language preservation and inclusive digital education, making learning more accessible to Gadangwe speaking students while safeguarding the language for future generations. The collaboration aligns with Ghana's digitization and education reforms agenda, seeking to leverage technology to expand access to quality education while preserving cultural heritage. The Education Minister has reaffirmed government commitment to integrating local languages into modern learning systems, emphasizing that education must reflect Ghana's linguistic diversity. Now you ask yourself, what is the significance of including Gadangwe in Google AI training tools? Including Gadangwe in the Google AI learning tools is a big deal. If you ask me, it's a big deal. It will help preserve the language, make education more accessible to the Gadangwe speakers, promote cultural heritage. Students can learn in their native language, improving understanding and also engagement with the language. Plus, it boosts digital content in local language, driving more Ghanaian language online. I mean, the question I ask you tonight is, what do you think about this initiative? You can also share your thoughts with us. How will this initiative impact the Gadangwe speaking students? Not just the students, but even people working in for cultural heritage, for exchange of program. We need to do the Obake. You know what I mean by that? You need to learn the language is very, very important. Aha. Very important for us to get it do. You know, Gadangwe speaking student will benefit in several ways if this is put in the AI tools. For some of us to also learn the language, it's important for us to how to be able to speak the language, communicate with the children at home. I believe if we pick it from the children's perspective from home, they can learn other languages on campus, but when they come home, the communication tool, once a farmer serving a cry, you'll be able to note school yakase. I mean, Accra must be heard. Trust me, Accra, that's the nation's capital. It must be heard. And I like the fact that the Gamanche championed this and also says Accra must be heard. I mean, when Gadangwe speaking student will benefit in several ways when we add the AI Google tool to it, it improves accessibility. Why? Because learning materials in their native language make education more accessible and also understandable. When we begin to teach our children in the local dialect, Gadangwe, how many people remember that word asipatre? How many of you remember what it is? I wonder if people, when I say asipatre, how many people know it? Okay, so cultural connection, that's also one of the things that will stand to benefit. Students connect with their heritage. It brings culture through language. It gives better engagement. Learning in Gadangwe can boost engagement and economic performance. Now, when we go digital, the digital skills exposure to the AI tools in their language enhances digital literacy. So all in all, it will create more inclusive education opportunities for the Gadangwe speaking, for those of us who speak the Gadangwe, for those of us who love to learn the language. So it will create more inclusive education opportunities for Gadangwe speakers. My question tonight is, what is your take? Let's go to the palace of the Gamanche Ni Taki Te Chulu. Let's get to his Let's get to the premises of the Gamanche Kentucky, Teko Chulu II. And as he has a conversation with the Minister of Education.
Honorable Minister, if you can give more, what really about me, potentially, I can see what gun, the dang be more, a G, money or G. And the quality. Ni kewo kwe ni wa akra wo ba wo wi mo wo machine and quality ani e ba gba wona e ba gba yi no ya bi ko me hu ana swampa wo ga ba la je ni anan isedon mo wo wi mo no ga wo lo here small matini nakai so mo ga no fe fa o kole nakai yeah. Look at what we more faithful. Shinamo papa he wakaboting. No que ni waga achon. The dangbe achon your schools fair amling. No he here wa agbene neke AI none. Me na kesin keba one institution ake chieftaincy alo lo moyeli e ba yebu awo adente. Alquality. Eja ke noni minto ni oleji blofo chono ko transcribing okay keba wo court kesane yeli nke wo ye gan AI2 ne bo eya wan don akesin ke awe blofo eno AI ne ba jade no ke ba gamere agbere meni nu blofo ko tomo mi gan the ambanu shishin ni agbene Sanie baya le boni water wole. Yemo. No ba ve melon e hawo. Wo okwe. To bono wo shin ni afile na kan pepe ni game ke dangbe me anaminche. Swampa. Honorable Minister, wole akesin ohiewa ni ohie kashin. Yeah, well, ya kesin nuchumoni waga wo dinne o chule pepe e hawo. Yeah. What's a kwe game dangbe me wada bushin. Chat no manyaba. Yeah.
So I have no authority to respond to you than to comply. Be assured that in the deployment of teachers, we will abide by your guidance to know who to post where and when, and have my assurance that I will do everything possible, not just to protect it, but to promote indigenous languages.
So from the palace of the Gamanche and also having a tete-a-tete with the Minister of Education, Haruna Idrisu, getting the Gadangbe on the Google AI, not just the Google AI, but making it a mandatory subject that students and also even transcribing at the court levels will go a long way for those who cannot speak the English language, but gets to the court, the language and the AI to do the translation into Ghana to make it more accessible, easy for everybody to also be able to learn and also know what is really going on. And I believe that the current education minister is implementing various initiatives, including decentralized teacher recruitment, where he mentioned that they will make sure that we teach under the guidance after the Gamanche has spoken. There is no need for me to reply. He said, we need to follow your guidance, make sure that what you've said is heard and is well implemented by your guidance. Know which teachers to send to which area and also where to send them. And I believe that the Gamanche calling on the education minister to make sure that we, and I love that collaboration. The collaboration aligned with Ghana's decentralization and also education reform agenda will go a long way seeking to leverage technology to expand access to quality education whilst preserving the cultural heritage of the people of Gadangbe. The Education Minister also reaffirmed government's commitment to integrating local languages into modern learning system. Remember, that Krellin call has been a hit through. And then I love that conversation. I love the collaboration from the ministry and then the government chair calling for that collaboration. And also looking at the chieftaincy areas where all these tools can be deployed to help the people. It makes learning very, very important. Someone will ask, what is the significance of including the Gadangbe and the Gogo AI learning? Including the Gadangbe and the Gogo AI learning tools is, for me, it's a big deal. Why? Because it will help preserve the language. Not just about preservation of the language, but it will make education more accessible to the Gadangbe speakers. Not just that, it will go a long way to promote the cultural heritage of the people of Gadangbe. Preservation is there, make education more accessible, and also promote the language and the cultural heritage. Students can learn in their native language, improving the understanding and engagement. That is the key values as to why we need to go to school. Improving the understanding and engagement. And one final thing it will do is to boost the digital content in local language, driving more Ghanaian language online. And I think that this initiative will go a long way to help us preserve our language as we move on as a country. And I want to say a big thank you to the King for drawing the attention of the Ministry of Education and making sure that I can tell you that including the Gadangbe and the AI learning tool is a great initiative. It's going to help preserve the language, make education accessible. Students can learn in their native language. Now, away from the corridors of the government chair, from the palace, let's move on to look at some other matters where we go to the MPP. Now, let's do some bit of politics tonight. 053-715-8638 is the numbers. 053-715-8638 is the numbers. So let's do some bit of politics tonight. And the first is to go to the camps of Kennedy Agyapong after losing in the primaries, conceding defeat. Kennedy Agyapong has called for unity within the New Patriotic Party. After losing the presidential primaries, he urged supporters to come together and work towards winning 2028. General election, he emphasized the importance of party cohesion and also respecting the delegates' decision, stating election will pass, unity must remain. That's very important. Let's take a listen to the man, Ken Ohene Agyapong.
Kukrudu. 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 The former President Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo, the flag bearer, Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia, all the aspirants present, party chairman, general secretary, minority leader, chairman, the council of elders, and MPP party. I stand before you to pledge my support, also to accept the results declared by EC. The delegates have spoken, and I want to plead with my supporters that they should stay calm and respect the results and help all of us to work together to win 2029 or 2028 election. I want to advise my supporters. First, I want to thank you, but advise that in election, you can win and you can lose. So if you lose, you have to accept it in good faith. So let's all of us throw our support to Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia, the flag bearer. And all I say is, MPP, we need unity in the party. But unity comes with respect. We have to respect each other's views. That is all I want to say tonight. So congratulations to Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia and MPP. Thank you.
Ken Ohene Agyapong, who secured the second place in the primaries, thanked his campaign team for their efforts and also encouraged supporters to stay calm, focused on the party's future. He acknowledged the disappointment but stressed that defeat is part of politics and urged members to rally behind Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia, the MPP's new flag bearer. Away from the conceding by Kennedy Ohene Agyapong, Elvis Darko, the managing editor of News Center, believed that Kennedy Agyapong made a strategic error by contesting Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia in the 2026 primaries, arguing his popularity has declined compared to 2023. Agyapong secured 23% of the vote, while Bawumia won with 56.48. Now let's take a listen to the managing editor of News Center.
All the four people who he was contesting with, all of them are, well, from one speech or the other, one action or that, are trying to paint the picture that because he's vice president and it's at a higher level, if the people are not satisfied with the Akufo-Addo government, they should blame him for it. And you know, the party had a lot of issues, and so people were angry. And you know, losing the election by that margin, obviously, the main message will be, okay, change everybody because we lost election by that margin. So when the contestants were also happy on it the more, it's supposed to deepen the anger in people and for people to actually say, okay, then let's change him. But I think that his campaign team also did a good job by countering those narratives and also pushed back to ensure that people will know. And I think that the vote only is clear that the delegates decided that they can't blame the loss on him alone. They can't fault him alone because it's not a one-man government. Government is a lot of people. And I think looking at all the things people have said about government and how they try to blame him, I think getting this percentage is reasonable, is respectable, because it's not been easy. If a party loses the election, one of the things that people do is to whip up people's anger, to whip up people's anger against whoever was in government. So that was my fear, that it was going to work against him. But clearly, if you look at the results, it really didn't work against him, because even if you look at the total votes he got, he only lost about 7,500 votes in the total vote he got from the previous one. He lost about 7,500 votes. The main issue is about Ken losing over 25,000 votes.
True.
And Brian, a first timer, rising so significantly, almost close to Ken, 18 point something, 23 point something. Ken was able to beat Brian by just about 10,000. And that to me, I think that was the narrative. But if you look at my paper, I done analysis about Brian's rise threatening Ken's, and I look at the similarities between Brian and Ken. I look at it that, look, they are all businessmen. They were touting their potential that they are business. They all said they are rich. Okay, they were all former members of parliament. They all said they own a lot of businesses. They all touted similar things, and they all said they were rich. So the delegates were expecting the rich people to pay more. And I in my assessment, I believe that, I think Brian really paid and was maybe he was able to beat Ken. Now, because if you listen to the delegates, anytime Brian goes around, they seem to be happy because they will tell, oh, Brian has given us this, Brian has given us this, he has promised that on the voting day he will give us this. And so I think Brian really invested money, and if you look at it interestingly, they both won one region each. Ken won Central, and Brian won Volta. If you look at the 16 regions, they shared it 8-8 between Ken and Brian. Between Ken and Brian, if you look at the figures they got, Brian won 8 regions. If you look at just between Ken and Brian, Brian had more votes in 8 regions than Ken. So they actually divided the country. And interestingly, the 5 regions up north, Ken won only one.
Brian actually did better.
Better there. Yeah. And then he came down south. He beat Ken at the eastern region, beat Ken in the Volta region, and another region. So you see that Brian's strategy that if Ken say I'm rich, I also show him that I'm rich. I think really it was, so you realize that I am of the view that is really what decreased Ken's vote, because if people decide that they are going to vote for you because you can pay, and somebody comes and is paying more than you, obviously for those people, their vote is about who is paying bigger. So you look at a lot of things and I say, okay, I'm not surprised that things turn out that, because clearly they look.
All right, so you hear that Elvis Darko also throwing light out that Kennedy did himself a disservice. Elvis react to the MPP primaries. Meanwhile, a senior political science lecturer at the University of Ghana says Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia immediate challenge following his victory in the New Patriotic Party, the MPP presidential primaries, is not the ruling party, but its own. And this comes after Dr. Bawumia secured a reduced margin of victory over the weekend, falling to surpass the 61 he gathered in 2023, a contest result expert interpreted as a sign of internal discontent. But Dr. Kwame Ansah framed the win as a mandate to come with an urgent on unifying mission. Asante stated that the vote tally itself was a clear signal. I don't know about what you think about the vote signal, but let's take a listen to, he was once the electoral, he is, when it comes to elections, he was the head of IT and also deputy when it comes to election at the NDC. And this is how the election was smart. Some MPP members have raised concerns about the election process with allegation of irregularities. According to Rashid Tanko, the former parliamentary claimed the election was smartly rigged for Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia. However, the MPP has not officially responded to this allegation. But let's take a listen to him.
This group, their internal elections, if you are a political party and you are not interested in their internal elections, then you don't know what you are doing as a party.
Okay.
Now, watching them from the 90s up to 2007, they've been doing something interesting in the way they organize their internal politics. Now, we saw it. In fact, I just want to take the latest, but that was the 2007 one.
Okay.
When 17 of them came up and contested, it went to a second round. Alan had to left the race for Nana Akufo-Addo. At that time, Nana got 47. In fact, he got 47%.
Yes.
At that elections.
Yes.
They didn't go for the second round. He stepped down for him.
Yeah.
Now, when they got to 2014 or 2015, they did another. Now, if you look at that one,
okay,
Nana rating increased. It increased drastically. I mean, clearly, you could see that he moved from that one to 94.35. From the 47, he continued to increase his rating in the party.
That's a fact.
Yes, and he got to 94.35.
I'll tell you why.
Now, with this one, it helped him to win the election 2016. It was very clear. That means he has full control of the party. The party was behind him strongly at that time. That's why we didn't find it easy in the 2016 election. Now, you come to the NDC. It means there is a history of a candidate, when you are repeating a candidate, his rating increase in the party because you presented the candidate the first time, then he's rejected. The party thinks that no, let's bring him back. Then the party feels that no, he's a strong candidate, let's support him. And then they increase his rating. If you look at His Excellency John Dramani Mahama, when we lost the 2016, and then we came back in 20, and that was in 2019 to do our primaries. At that time, we had a lot of candidates contesting him. At that time, he got 95% in the 2019 elections. Then 2023, there was another contest. He rose from the 95 to 98.9. In fact, it was just 99 because you round it up, that's 99%. And we're dealing with delegates of 297,000. That was the votes he got. Over 300,000 delegates voted. We are all students of statistics. And you know, whether you have a lot of, then you have one, you are referring to the contest. If the people feel that, look, this person you are bringing back for the second time, we will not like the person. Either the person will reduce in margins or the person will increase his margin, and that will tell you. Over 300,000 delegates, not 200,000, over 300,000. And he got almost 99%. That was massive endorsement. And we actually won the election 2020. I didn't know because of the rigging mechanism that came out from the MPP in collaboration with the Electoral Commission, and that led to Madame Jean Mensa running away from being cross-examined at the Supreme Court. Everybody saw that the NDC won the 2020 election. It was rigged. And then we followed through to the 2024 election and gave you a hell of time, MPP. Because the candidate you brought for the 2024 election in your 2023 got 61.4%. Is that not true? You got 61%. That means even in your party, there was a problem. And we as a political party, the NDC, we realized that Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia couldn't have gotten 61.4%. Looking at the MPP, the setup of the party, and then his rating at that time in the party, and we have punched holes to his leadership qualities in handling the economy and all that, and Nana Akufo-Addo, there was no way he could get 61%. So the 61 was a suspect. Hence, our setting up a collation center this time round, to be sure of the figure they are going to, because that figure was in suspect. We didn't believe that 61.4%. We believed that Bawumia had gotten less than 61% at that time. Look, one of the candidates raised issue of the figures chain out at the 2023 primaries of MPP and said the elections was rigged because he got 104 in one polling station and they recorded 14 for him. In another place, they gave him 0 completely. When people came out and indicated how they voted for him. So all this culminated to a rigged election that gave Bawumia the 61.
Rashid Tanko Computer of the NDC are throwing those allegations in them. Meanwhile, some specific irregularities he mentioned, a vote buying allegation which the MPP General Secretary Justin Frimpong Kodia denied, stating there is no evidence of delegates being given money to influence their voting decisions, blocking of delegates from voting with allegations that Kwabena Agyapong's campaign team blocked 2 delegates from Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia camp at Ablekuma South, use of outdated polling station data with Rashid Tanko Computer alleging the NPP relied on the 2023 data excluding new polling station to secure Bawumia's victory, taking photos of ballots with 2 delegates arrested for allegedly violating electoral laws by taking photos of their ballot after voting. The NPP has denied the allegations of delegate intimidation and vote buying, describing them as false, unfounded, and misleading. The party's national leadership has urged members to disregard the remarks by some regional chairmen stating they don't represent the party's official position. The MPP has also requested an investigation into the allegation of a plot to compromise the primary's integrity. These claims of electoral irregularities could, for me, could stain the MPP unity, potential creating division within the party. Supporters of Ken or other losing candidate might feel disenfranchised, leading to internal conflict. However, the party's emphasis on unity and reconciliation as seen in Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia and the Japan's call for cohesion might mitigate this effect. The MPP's response to this allegation will be crucial in maintaining the party harmony. And that's it, bringing us up to a quarter to the hour 10 p.m. And now let's move on to other matters quickly, and then we can wrap up for tonight's edition. Let's go to the poster. The man, Musa Dankwa, the man at the moment, the man who got it right in making sure that the MPP goes into this election. He predicted and said he knows Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia was going to get close to 58%. So we go to take a listen to Musa Dankwa. When we come back into the studios, we go to the phone lines where you can also give us your input and what you make of the reactions from the NPP with regards to the allegation thrown in by the NDC Dankwa. But let's take a listen to Musa Dankwa, the Executive Director of Global Info Analytics, accurately predicted Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia victory in the MPP primaries with securing 56.48% of vote. Dankwa's forecast was off by 0.5% and within the margins of error. He emphasized elections are unique and urged caution in interpreting polls, highlighting the difference between posters and recesses. Now let's take a listen to him.
When we talk with such confidence, we do so because we've had a trend. And a trend is usually data you have collected over a period of at least 3 months or 3 cycles, sorry. And in many of the elections that we've done, the cycles have been more than 5, 7, or 8 times. So you have a clear trend that you would have established along the line. And those trends gives you the confidence to say that this will pan out. Secondly, when we are doing the sampling, we choose a sample number or a sample that would give us 99% confidence level. We don't choose samples that give us 95% or 90% confidence. No. If you watch, all our sampling has been on the 99% confidence limit. And thirdly, no matter how good the sampling or the sample size is, you must ensure randomness. Randomness. That's the key. There's always a margin of error. And look, unlike other researchers, we are known. When we call them, we say we are Global Info Analytics. They know us. They have confidence in talking to us than other people. The thing you have to do is to align the sample to reflect regional weighting accordance with EC register. Make sure that you don't give any region an advantage, undue advantage over the other by your own wishes. Ensure that it is in line with the EC register. So we always use the EC register as a frame for the sample or for the sampling. Don't deviate from that. If you go and give Eastern region more votes than Greater Accra, you know what you're going to get. Look, he would have gotten around 28% if he had gotten his campaign on track and discipline. And Brian would have probably gotten the 13% we gave to him. And Bawumia would have gotten 57%. What we saw was a total collapse of Kennedy in the last 2 weeks of the campaign. And Bawumia didn't benefit from that collapse. The benefit went to Brian. That is why Brian outperformed the expectations. And Kennedy really underperformed even the expectations. Now, what happened in the last 2 weeks? I mean, it's not news. We all saw the video of Kennedy attacking Bawumia as a liar, calling him a liar. I think that was the straw that broke the camel's back. There were delegates who were trying to decide as whether they should go to Kennedy or they should go to Brian. And I think Kennedy made it much easier for them to go to Brian and elsewhere. done to him. Those kind of shifts was really dramatic. And there were those who had actually planned to vote for Kennedy. But on the basis of what he said, they got, appalled and abandoned him.
So you heard from the Executive Director of Global Info Analytics, Musa Dankwa. Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia's victory in the MPP primaries can also be attributed to factors such as familiarity and experience. Bawumia's long presence in the NPP politics since 2008 makes him a familiar face, and also easing his campaign effort. Consecutive nature of the delegates. The MPP delegates tend to be older and prefer candidates with proven track record favoring Bawumia's experience, acceptability, and also favorability. Delegates prioritize candidates who can win general elections. Bawumia secured high on acceptability and favorability rating of 93%. Demographic makeup. Only 12% of delegates are under 34, influencing the party consecutive voting pattern. So all this come into play, and Kennedy's performance in the primaries was below prediction. He was expected to win around 52% of vote, but secured 23.76% of vote, coming second to Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia's 46.8%. The MPP primaries highlight key lessons for political polling. Polls aren't always accurate. Musa Dankwa's prediction was off, showing unpredictable of elections. Delegate demographic matter. Older consecutive delegates influence the outcome, emphasizing the need to understand vote patterns or profile, the voter profiles. Acceptability and favorability counts. Bawumia's high score on this metrics likely swayed the delegate. And the methodology is crucial. The use of outdated polling data and also potential biases can impact result. 053-715-8638 is the numbers. You can join us, you can call us, you can give us a call now. And then let's take a listen to what do you make of the elections, the presidential primaries that just ended on a Saturday by 6:30. We know 053-715-8638. And numbers are also to me adjoining Obanyo Trawo. Let's have a conversation. What do you make of the primaries that was held over the weekend? Got some few more minutes. We'll wrap up in today's edition of the News Focus live and direct from our studios here on the 10th Avenue Extension, Greater Estate, Nungwa Adogon. Is a place you can always trust us to bring you nothing by the finest of programming. And this is MBN TV. This MBN TV. Call us now and let's get to hear your voice.
Hello?
Hello, good evening.
Good evening.
Hey, can you please tell us your...
Hello?
Hello, we can hear you. Good evening.
Yeah, fine evening. I'm speaking for Paul.
All right, let's hear you.
Congratulations to Dr. Alhaji Bawumia.
Okay.
Inshallah, 2028, he will win. Thank you.
Thank you from Pong. Listening to us, you can also call 053-715-8638 is the numbers. A senior lecturer at the Kumasi Technical University, KTU, Professor Smart Sapon, has advised the New Patriotic Party to resist calls to distance itself immediately from former President Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo. He urged the party instead to study his failures to avoid repeating them in future administration. 053-715-8638 is the numbers. You can also share your thoughts with us. Meanwhile, some reports coming from Kwandai, where the National Democratic Congress, the NDC, has appealed to its youth supporters in the Kwandai constituency to remain calm and exercise restraint following protests over a recent Supreme Court ruling that reinstates the parliamentary election victory of the New Patriotic Party, Matthew Yidam. The appeal was made by Rashid Tanko Computer, the Deputy Director of Elections and IT of the NDC. Using the platform to address the aggrieved youth, Mr. Tanko assured them that the party's leadership was actively working to resolve the matter and had not abandoned their concerns. 053-715-8638 is the numbers. You can also join us. We've got a few more minutes and we will be saying bye-bye to you. Now, still with the elections, the Executive Director of the Global Info Analytics, Musa Dankwa, described Brian Champion's victory in the Volta region during the New Patriotic Party's presidential primary as the biggest surprise. Mr. Dankwa says the overall conduct of the election was satisfactory, but noted that Champion's performance in the Volta region was unexpected. He also observed that Kennedy Japan's performance below even the worst case projection.
Yeah, hello.
Hello, good evening.
Yeah, I'm Christopher. I'm calling from Kakasunaka.
Okay, your name, where are you calling from?
Christopher. From Kakasunaka.
Okay, from Kakasunaka. Christopher, let's hear you. Please. Let's hear you.
Yeah.
We are listening to you, Christopher.
Oh, okay. I really like Brian Champion, like.
I think we've lost Christopher there.
He have future with the party.
Okay.
We are hoping to meet people like that, right?
All right. Thank you so much, Chris.
Yeah, and we need to work hard, right?
Okay.
If we can make it.
Thank you so much, Christopher, for joining us on News Focus tonight. The Food and Drugs Authority, FDA, has ordered the immediate closure of all food service establishments across the country operating without a valid food hygiene permit effective 1st February. The sweeping directive targets the entire spectrum of hospitality, food, retail sector, from high-end lunch and hotels to local chop bars, bakeries, and school canteens. Crucially, the FDA has also extended its enforcement to Makoni Digital Market, naming online food vendors and food vans as key target for the shutdown. 0537158638, 057158638 is the numbers. The FDA is exercising its powers under Section 130, Section 1 of the Public Health Act 2012, Act 851. The law strictly prohibits the manufacture, sale, supply, or storage of regulated products in any premises that have not been officially vetted and registered. In a public notice released at the start of the month, the FDA was ready to all food service establishment without food valid permit will be closed down. So if you've not registered, please go do your registration before that showdown by the FDA comes in. Ghana loses 54.1 billion to commercial illicit financial flow from 2013 to 2022. Ghana has emerged as a major casualty in a decade-long financial hemorrhage, losing a staggering 54.1 billion US dollars to trade-related illicit financial flows, IFFs, between 2013 and 2022. A bombshell report by the Global Financial Integrity titled Trade-Related Illicit Financial Flows in Africa 2013 to 2022 revealed that Ghana now ranks as the third most affected country on the continent. A very good evening. 0537158638 is the numbers you can call. The scale of the crisis is such that nearly 28% of Ghana's total trade, approximately $3 out of every $10, is currently implicated in misinvoicing, price manipulation, or outright tax evasion. Whilst the absolute volumes are led by Africa's largest economies, the intensity of the value gap in Ghana has outpaced many of its regional neighbors. Take a look at the story in the broader perspective as we sojourn for God and for country. 053-715-8638 is the numbers. 053-715-8328 is the numbers. Well, this is where time will permit us to come your way with today's edition of the News Focus Tonight. I want to say a big thank you to our viewers, to our callers, to our texters, and to everybody from the PCR to MCR for making it possible for us to reach you wherever you're watching us from the Facebook, through our social media handles, YouTube, X, TikTok. We say may the good Lord bless us all. Till I'm back again same time tomorrow. My name is El Samuels. Don't forget to say a prayer with every heartbeat. Good night.